back too far. You remember those three churches in our community? Let me see, the Woods Chapel, Samuel Chapel, and Shiloh, I believe. You don't remember any of them, do you? Oh, I see.
What happened, Daddy?
Yeah, they were, we thought they were good churches. That was something that just about all of us liked, was going to church. Woods Chapel, Shiloh, Samuel Chapel, that we always liked.
What city were those churches in?
Pardon?
What city?
The churches? What signal?
What city? What city?
What city?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that little town was called Avalon, Mississippi. And joining Avalon, Mississippi was Leaf Floor, Mississippi.
Oh.
You probably remember you might not remember Leaf Floor either. Lemon, that was Leaf Floor, and that was Avalon, Mississippi.
Okay.
You don't remember any of them, do you?
No, I wasn't there, Daddy.
Had that probably before your time.
Mm-hmm. So, compare church back then to church nowadays. Talk to us about what was church like when you were little compared to church now.
Oh, they have, increased, better looking buildings. I don't know. I doubt the service being any better though. The singing, they had different tunes. That they mostly sang old time hymns at that. Have you ever heard of them?
Yes.
Hymn.
Mm-hmm.
You remember the old time hymn they used to sing? Say, Father, I stretch my hands to thee, no other help I know. If thou withdraw thyself from me, oh, where shall I go?
Wow.
You don't remember them, do you?
Can you sing it for me?
That one of those old time hymns.
Can you sing it for me?
Can
you sing it?
Father, I stretch my hand to thee, no the help I know, if thou withdraw thyself from me, oh, where the shall I go. Now they were singing songs like that when I was just a little boy.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That was absolutely beautiful, Daddy.
And that's an old one. I was a little boy at that time.
Mm-hmm. No, I never heard of that hymn right there. It's amazing how you remember
Mm-hmm.
every single word
Oh yeah.
in
Mm-hmm.
that song. The lyrics to that song, you remember that.
At that time, I was small. Maybe around between 7 and 10, somewhere in that area.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I was brought up in the church. I was a little boy that people they like to hear me sing.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I never knew that. So did you used to lead the choir or you sung solos by yourself?
Solos, mostly solos. Yes. Well, I went both ways. Solos and the single, the song that was sang as a group.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And they also had choirs at that time.
Okay.
Yeah, that been in circulation for a long time.
Mm-hmm. You never had stage fright?
Pardon?
You never experienced stage fright?
No, I really didn't. I don't. I guess maybe I didn't know anything about stage fright at that time.
Okay.
But I went. I didn't. I didn't have any stage fright.
Okay.
I like. Excuse me. I didn't mind singing.
Okay.
Hmm. And by myself too.
Wow.
You don't hear too much of that now. At that time, they had what was called solo. You heard of them?
Yes.
They call them solo.
Right.
I was a solo singer.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You was a soloist. Uh-huh.
Solos,
Mm-hmm.
old time hymns, and all of that.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Oh, we had a good time.
Yeah. What about your sisters and brothers?
Hmm?
What about like Auntie Mary and the rest of them?
Oh,
Uncle
my
Odell and
old, the oldest, well, Odell was the youngest one,
them? Mm-hmm.
but my sister, Bertha Lee, they didn't care too much about it.
What about Aunt
I like to go. I always like to go to church.
Mm-hmm.
But my older sisters and brothers, they didn't care anything about it. They didn't care anything about going to church. Not on Eddie, Bertha Lee, Mary. You remember Mary Swim, right?
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Bertha Lee, the older one, they didn't care about church. I was about the only one that was faithful in church service.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So did you go to church with your mom and dad?
Uh, my mother was a Methodist. My father was a Baptist. Most of the time I went with my father.
Oh, you went to church with your father.
My father, right, uh-huh.
So your father was saved.
Huh?
Your father was saved?
Well, that was what they call saved. We wouldn't call that saved now. As I grew up, it reached the point that they didn't think Baptist people were saved. Methodist and Baptist. My mother was a Methodist. You heard of the Methodist Church?
Yes.
And the Baptist. My father. Well, no. When I first started going to church, I was going with my father. He was going to a church called Union Grove. Uh, Union Grove Missionary Baptist Church. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We all were church going people though.
Okay.
Out on the farm there, it was a very few people that you see that didn't go to church.
Right.
Almost everybody went to church around there.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That was a church community. Almost everybody went to church. And them that didn't go to church, they sent their children. Some of the parents didn't go to church, but if they didn't go to church themselves, they sent their children to church.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's a wonderful
Yeah.
thing.
Because our father and mother went to church.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them. They didn't go to the same church. Them which I think.
You okay?
One was a Methodist, and the other one was a Baptist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just about almost everybody went to church. Only a few people down there that didn't go to church.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were far more faithful about going to church than they are now.
Wow.
And so many parents now don't go to church.
Right.
But at that particular time, just about all parents went to church. My mother, oh, they didn't go to the same church. I think my mother was a Methodist, and my father was a Baptist.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And then that was what one that they called the Sanctified Church. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
You don't remember them like what they call them? Yeah, Methodist, Baptist, and then another leading church. What they call it? The Sanctified Church.
Mm-hmm. Like it is nowadays, Pentecostal Sanctified Church.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And now we have Church of God in Christ.
Church of God in Christ. That's right.
Uh-huh.
They've been out for a long time too.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Church of God in Christ.
Right.
Yeah, they were out for a long time.
Right. Yeah, it's ridiculous. All the different
Mm-hmm.
denominations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we belong mostly to the Methodist, Baptist, and it was one they called the Sanctified Church. You remember them? No, I know you don't remember them.
Yes, I do.
That was one
We're part of the Sanctified Church now.
Oh, you remember the Sanctified Church, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. See, Church of God in Christ is also sanctified church.
That's right, Church of God in Christ. That's right. That was called a sanctified church.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's like it confuses the unbelievers though because of the different denominations and yeah.
Oh, I believe ever since I knew anything about church, they had different denominations. You know. One was called the Sanctified Church, then the Methodist Church or Baptist Church, Presbyterian.
Oh yeah.
And that was one called the Sanctified Church.
Right. And
that's what they call it. I can't even remember. I can't even remember the name of that, but I know that particular one. They called them the Sanctified Church.
The Holy Rollers.
Right. Holy Rollers,
Mm-hmm,
right.
Mm-hmm.
They danced and all of that,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, nowadays we have also the non-denomination.
That's right.
Now, was the non-denomination back then too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's just now.
Yeah.
Non-denomination.
Yeah.
Did y'all have that?
I believe long about in that area also. That was a one that had no denomination.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Not they were called the non-denomination.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, we have to know who Jesus is for ourselves. Otherwise, we'll be all over the place with the denominations. We have to know who Jesus is for ourselves. Otherwise, we'll be all over the place.
Right.
With the denominations.
Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We'll be lost. We'll be wondering which way is the right way, and God is the right way. Mm-hmm. Jesus Christ is the right way.
And then that was one that was called the Sanctified Church.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But further on down the line, we learned to call all the what was that? I can't think of the. I don't really remember the name of it, but that was one called the Sanctified Church. Then later on, that more people joined the Sanctified Church.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We had a good time in church service at that particular time, and those preachers, oh boy, they could. You talking about some preachers? We had some good preachers at that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can imagine. And good singers too, right?
That was one called the Union Grove Missionary Baptist Church. Mm-hmm. Samuel Chapel, that was a Methodist church. Woods Chapel, a Methodist church. Oh, there are churches all around. I get maybe church, maybe, oh, that was probably before I was born. They had churches.
Yeah. You feel like singing one more song?
And and as a little boy, I liked the church.
Right.
Yes, indeed. When I was just a little boy, just small, maybe around what 7 or 8, somewhere in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can you think of another song that you sang as a little boy?
Not right offhand now. We sing. Let me see. That was a whole old hymn. Father, I stretch my hand to thee. No other help I know. Then it say, if thou withdraw thyself from me, no other help I know.
How does that song go?
Huh?
How does that go?
How did it go?
Mm-hmm.
Father, I stretch my hand to thee. No other help I know. If thou withdraw thyself from me, oh, where the shall I go. That was one of the old hymns, you know. Yeah.
Can you think of a song that your mother used to sing to you? Did your mother used to sing a song to you as a little kid?
Oh, she really wasn't too much of a singer, I don't think. My father wasn't too much of a singer either.
Hmm.
But I've been a singer from a little boy.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed.
That's
I used to sing. They used to have me singing solos.
That's a blessing.
Yeah.
Can you think of something that your mother or father might have told you that stuck with you for years? Something inspirational.
My mother thought it was it something that they told me was inspirational?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Oh, and then the old time hymns, though some of them sung the old time hymns.
Right.
Father, I stretch my hand to thee. No the help I know. If thou withdraw thyself from me, oh, where the shall I go? That was one of those old time hymns, you know.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.